Story time, it's story time. Okay, today's story time. We didn't do it on Tuesday, but we'll do it today. It is August the 14th, 2013. Today's story deals with a far-off land that's far away. A land that isn't here, but is a land as Christians as we strive to go for. A land as the Bible refers to it as the highest point, or the zone of God, or the highest mountain, which is interpreted to mean heaven, where we will achieve. What will it be like in this holy city? Well, the Bible describes it as the streets being of gold, and that all the buildings and everything you see is made of all precious metals that are known to man. But instead of there only being a little bit of it available for people to have, there's unlimited amount of those resources up in heaven. This place will be absent of sin, will be absent of sorrow, will be absent of controlling people, and will be absent of people with mental issues, because they won't have those mental issues anymore. And there won't be nobody tiring over people there. But the thing is, people here on earth have to realize that before they get there, because if they have that attitude when they get there, before they get there, they will never end up there. You must get rid of the controlling attitude that you have. You must get rid of the wanting to have authority over people attitude, because God does not accept those kinds of hang-ups or behaviors in heaven. He will not allow that. The Bible's very clear about it. Jesus spoke about it very clearly in Scripture, in the Gospels, about that, regarding a matter of controlling. That was part of the reason what the rich young ruler was facing. It wasn't just his lifestyle, but it's the way he was with people, having control and power and authority over others. That's what he didn't want to give up to follow Jesus. And it wasn't just the money or his way of life, but it was that too, the behavior too. And that's why he was displeased when he walked away, because he couldn't give up that way, to how he could be over top of, authoritative over other people. And so therefore, this story deals with that, about how we're the future place where we're going. For all Christians, if you're a Christian that is, and you've been baptized the way Jesus was baptized by John the Baptist, by immersion, this is where you one day will be, if you don't have these other behaviors or hang-ups in your life. So if you do, you need to work on those things, otherwise you won't be there. The Bible talks about a place where every servant of God or believer of God will have a mansion that's made out of gold and precious metals, and will be and even elements. And there's so much of it up there, there's no limit on it. And the thing is, the roads are made of, like I said, gold, pure gold, and everything is so bright up there. It's very beautiful, like the purest blues you see in the gems, the purest clear that you see in the sapphire and the diamonds, the gems. And how buildings are made out of this stuff up there in heaven. And how sea, as the Bible refers to as the sea where we are, it looks like a sea to God, where it looks like a sheet of glass of diamonds. But that's where we are as believers. And so what we have here is this going on, and that's where we all will be going to. Right now, when people die, they go to a place called paradise. Paradise, it talks about this in the Old Testament, and Isaiah talks about it in Hebrews. That's where the New Testament paradise is across, or at the same place where a lot of New Testament scholars and preachers do read from and do contend to believe that paradise is in the same area where heaven is in the New Testament. You can look out and see heaven, but you just can't enter into it. It's sort of like the window screen on your computer, where you see a pretty picture and it looks so real, but you can't enter into that picture on your screen on your computer, a wallpaper, because it's just a picture. Well, heaven is like that. It's real, but you can't go in there until Jesus comes to resurrect our bodies and change them. That must take place, which some people will call that the rapture. But see, in this place, you'll be able to play, you'll be able to learn, and you'll be in direct contact with God 24/7. This place, the singing will sound out of this world. So if you don't have a pretty good voice, or you're not a good musician here on this earth, or if you always wanted to be a preacher and you never had really the lack or the technique to be one, you'll be able to do it there. But the one thing that you won't be able to do is witness. So in this new heaven and earth where we'll be going, it's not going to be here on this earth. This earth, in Genesis, says will be destroyed by heavenly fire. It will be destroyed by everlasting fire. It will destroy everything. So God's not going to come here and dwell among here for those people that believe that, because the Bible doesn't teach that. However, there are theology stance that do teach this, but the Bible does not teach that. If you read it without theological precepts and ideas, it does not teach it that way. The Bible teaches that we will all go to heaven after we are judged if we're believers. Now, we must be believers, and what I mean by that is being born again, Christians. That's what the Bible teaches. So in this new place of new age of existence where we will be with God. And that's the final destination where all Christian believers will reside to when God comes to get us. So if your body was cremated when you died and it was dumped over the ocean or was maybe shot out into space, it'll reform wherever it is, and God will come and get you. Jesus will call you up, and you'll be, as they say, raptured, but you'll be called up is what I say. Because called up and rapture are not exactly the same. But, it's similar. Rapture means you're just automatically teleported. But called up means Jesus comes to get you, and then you envelop to the clouds. So it's not exactly the same thing. It means you're called up. God raises your body with you back in it, but with a transformed body. So as you're raised, your body is instantly transformed as it's being pulled up to the clouds where He is, and then we all will adjourn and go to heaven with Him all together. And that's what Scripture teaches. So in this place, you'll be able to eat probably all the ice cream you want without having to worry about any kind of weight restrictions. You'll be able to talk with your mouth like I'm doing right now, or to think what you're saying and everybody will hear it through your mind. You'll be able to think with your thoughts and communicate with everybody there, including God. Or you can speak with your voice vocally, and everybody will hear you. So, and having nothing will be, hidden from everyone, because everyone will be, it will all be just a pure and sinless environment, so there's nothing to hide, and everything there will be out in the open. It's just like when Christians are judged, we'll be judged, and we'll all go to God by ourselves, but actually out there, there'll be there'll be saints, is what I meant to say, that will be out there that will hear your judgment. So they'll be judged, but there'll be people out there also to hear your judgment. They won't be able to act on you or interfere in any way, but they'll be able to hear the verdict of your judgment at the time of judgment, which no one has faced that yet. However, when you die, like a lot of Christian ministers like myself, we do believe that you'll know exactly where you're going when you die. You won't have to be mystified whether you go to Hades or paradise, because if you're a believer, you will know immediately when you die. And that's what a lot of people say, because the Bible talks about this, that you will know as a believer. And as far if you're not a believer, it's not really clear about that if you'll know. But if you're a Christian, you know where you're going. And besides, if you're living right, the Bible nobody has to come and tell you. You're going to know where you're going when you're dying, because you lived a good life and you did what you're supposed to do according to what the Scripture outlines to do, as what is commanded by Jesus, not by people or by some idea or by some faith stance that really doesn't follow with the Bible. But you take the Bible and you read the Bible without having a premillennial stance or millennial stance or a postmillennial stance or any other kind of ideas with it. You just read it without that kind of ideal sight. And that's when you'll be able to go to this wonderful place called heaven. That's our final destination. Right now we're in the Christian age, waiting for the coming hour of our very Messiah, the Lord, who's going to call all Christians up and transform our bodies right in an instant, right before your eyes. Your bodies will be in a new body and in existence, and you'll go right up to heaven with Him. And that's where we will finally be, in the true Garden of Eden, which you'll be able to eat there spiritually and learn all the stuff you want to know. Any question you want to ask the Lord, you'll be able to ask, and He'll answer it. It's what's promised in Scripture. Any kind of illness that you have will be gone, Any kind of handicaps you have, any mental limitations, they'll be gone. So that's something to be excited for as saints, as children of God. You know, whether you're 13 years old or whether you're 3 years old or whether you're 92 years old or over 100 years old, you're a child of God. As long as you're breathing, and you always will be a child of God, even after you pass on from this life, the physical life, and go on and transcend into the spiritual life to be with the saints. You are still a child of God, and even in the presence of God, you will still be his child or children. And that's what we all are. The Bible calls all Christians children, fathers, or calls them, gods, which means servants or elect or children. And the Old Testament talks about gods, which doesn't mean we're gods ourselves, but we are children that are following after God's example and through his teachings. And that's why we're referred to as gods or children or the elect. And that's why the Old Testament says it in those words, not because we are literally gods, because that's not what we are. We're children of God that are following after God's example and leadership and teaching it and sharing it with others, and that's what that means. So when you go to heaven, it's going to be a fun time. You'll be able to reunite with family members you've never seen or ever known, but they know about you. And if there were any abortions, if there were miscarriages from your mother, you'll get to meet them because they're anxiously, eagerly anticipating your arrival to meet you up in paradise, as well as in heaven, as you are to meet them without even knowing them. But you'll know them when you see them, when they come there to meet you along with Jesus. Because Jesus is probably the first one that will meet you before anyone else. The Bible says that Jesus is there with his arms waiting. They're open, waiting for you to run into them. And you know that you're home. And he'll welcome you first. And then all the saints will welcome you after that. So you get to talk to St. Peter. You get to talk to St. Paul. You get to talk to, you get to talk to all the apostles. You just name a few. You get to talk to all the prophets in the Old Testament because they're all major. They're not all minor. The only reason why they're minor and major is because their books are smaller than other books. And that's why they were considered minor and major, because of the size of their letters. But they're really all major in the eyes of God. We have class in college, Bible college, that talks about this. But it's really all major. They're all really major in the eyes of God, and that's how they should be in the eyes of all believers too, because they all are major prophets. They're not minor or major. They're just called that because of the size of their letter or volume of what they wrote. So, that's the story today about what it will be like in heaven. It'll be fun. It's a good place. It'll be full of excitement. You'll be able to talk vocally. You'll be able to sing beautifully. You'll be able to play the piano beautifully. There'll be instruments up there. all kinds of instruments the Bible talks about. There'll be people up there. You'll get to see Jesus. You'll get to see the Lord on his throne. He'll light up the heavens, with his sure power and with his glory. And we'll be all basking in it. And that's just a so wonderful thing. And this is my short story about heaven. My question is to you to think about, what is heaven to you? What do you think heaven will be like? And what do you think heaven, really kind of toss it around. Do you think you're going to be going to heaven? These are questions you'll have to think about. If you're not sure, then there's things you need to change in your life, like the way you treat people and how you are to other people and how you think. You're always thinking about yourself or thinking about how you can get ahead in life when really you should be more concerned about other people's needs instead of your own. The Bible talks about this. So think about these things. You don't have to answer them in the comment section down below, but just think about them in your mind. Because if you have these attitudes where you feel not sorry, but selfish, and you think it's all about you, that's selfish. You need to think about other people. Think about what Jesus would be thinking about. How to help people in your family. Even people that have a hard time with understanding things, if they're having mental problems and things. You still need to love them with compassion, with the same kind of compassion that Jesus still loves us. Because one day those limitations that they have will be gone. It doesn't always pay to be right, even though you may be right. Because a lot of times we're not right. But at times we are right, but it doesn't always pay to be right all the time in certain situations. Because in the end, your righteousness will be proven anyway, to all Christians anyway. And what was unrealized now will be eventually realized. So just think about those things. That's my story. I hope you enjoyed it about heaven. See you later for now. This is Uncle Mike. And of course, I'll have another story for you on Tuesday, Lord willing, next week. Thanks a lot. Please support us. and our ministry, please donate. And please send your donations to 7110 New Hunter Road, apartment 423, Mechanicsville, Virginia, 23111. And if you donate, then those other things will start coming back. The reason why I stopped doing all the extra work to gather and put those things together to put them on my site is because y'all aren't donating, and it takes money to do that. So if you want the stories to come back, you want Alex Jones to come back and all these other things to come back to watch it for free, then please donate, because it costs money to do all this stuff. I have subscriptions with these channels. It's not free. So when I put it on the air on Facebook and other places for you to watch it, please think about me and help me so I can continue to keep getting that subscription. Thanks a lot, and I will see you later. And please help us in our ministry. It's Mikel DeSilvis with DeSilvis' Media Channel.